I guess for me, another marker of this quarter, which is like, why the fuck are we doing it this way? Like, we should not be doing that. It's Thursday, March 31st, 2022. This is episode 209 of the Token CEO podcast. I'm Erika Nardini. I'm the CEO of Barstool Sports. This is our second year of doing this, which is amazing. So shout out to the team who puts this thing on and makes it float. That's insane. So we've done 200 episodes in 2 years, 100 episodes a year. That's cool. All right, so thank you most of all to everybody who's listening. If you have not already subscribed to us on YouTube, so you can follow and watch the show on YouTube, or you can listen to this wherever podcasts are consumed and sold. Shout out Work Like a Girl, where we only do Q&A, and we're launching that once a week. So you can get the Token CEO episode, which is a little bit more meandering. It's all about what's happening here at Barstool, what's going on in the industry, and what our guest has to say, versus Work Like a Girl is strictly advice and work advice. So if you have a work advice question, you can DM us. Either you can DM me at Erika on Instagram, you can DM Token CEO and send us your questions. You can also call in the next time we do a recording session, and we'll be sure to let you guys know that. Okay, so first up, let's talk about the boardroom. Here are what am I thinking about? So it's the end of Q1. I think we had a tough Q1 as a company. Awesome Q1, tough Q1. Huge amount of change inside of the company. I think that most companies right now are grappling with a huge amount of change. I think the post-pandemic life has created a huge amount of change. The way employees want to work is creating a huge amount of change. The uncertainty about the economy and the implications of the supply chain are creating a huge amount of change. And then also, I think the Great Resignation, or just people realizing who they are, what they want to be, what they want to do with their life, that's having a huge impact on companies. I would characterize that most companies that I'm working with or associated with, and certainly this one, are grappling with a significant amount of gaps. And I think that's a lot of what companies are going through right now. If you look at the WWE, they're like trying to rebuild their entire finance department. When I talk to Penn National, they can't get their hands on enough employees. When you look at Barstool Sports, we've had a massive management transition. I've talked about that a lot, but it has a lot of impacts, and it obviously has impacts on the performance of the quarter. Which no CEO and no business can ignore. So if I were to categorize our Q1, one is that digital talent and personalities are more valuable than ever before. Like, the value of an internet personality, the importance of an internet personality, the potential of an internet personality is insane and skyrocketing. In the sports business in particular, I think the way DraftKings and FanDuel and others are spending money is having an indelible impact on that. But I also think we're finally here, and by here I mean like we're finally at that point in time when a broadcast television star means nothing compared to an internet star. And this place and this company in particular and this brand has launched some of, if not most of, the internet stars out there. So I think that is a huge thing that I'm seeing in Q1. And the second thing is just the productization of digital. You know, we launched Wood at the beginning of Q1. I just read an article this morning, which we talk about with Tyler Morin. The Bored Ape Yacht Club is launching a fast food restaurant in California. That had to come together in a matter of months, which is really pretty staggering. When you look at Mr. Beast and other internet-first brands, they have chocolate bars, they have burgers, they have soft drinks. And I think that we're in this time of productization of digital. Like, the digital stuff is becoming physical. I think the smartest people are doing it in a way where they have an equity stake or an ownership position, or they're getting significant amount of cash from that physical thing. I think, you know, it's interesting to me. I always look at, like, what are the D'Amelios doing versus, let's say, what Mr. Beast is doing? And how do they do those things? And then where do we as Barstool kind of fit in there? Like, obviously we're doing our own thing. We launched a sports bar this month. We have physical locations. We have a grooming product. We're trying to figure out if we have a ghost kitchen or not. We have a frozen pizza. We obviously have a vodka. We have a partnership with Whistle Pig where we're making a whiskey RTD. Like, we're productized. We're primarily productized in the CPG food space and in the alcohol space. I think there's a huge amount of opportunity for us in other spaces, whether it's finance, other CPG products. Could we even consider a retail product? Like, there's so much that we can do in terms of the productization of this brand and these personalities. So I think the other piece of it is you look at like the D'Amelios and like, remember when Charlie had the thing at Dunkin' Donuts, right? Like her drink at Dunkin' Donuts. That lasted for a certain period of time. I don't hear about that drink anymore. I don't know if Dunkin' Donuts still carries it. I think the pandemic kind of killed it, honestly. But what I think is really interesting is you have talent agencies and some influencer personalities doing short-term, limited time offerings with big established brands. That's going to net you, she probably made a couple million bucks from that, I would imagine. Or you see companies like Mr. Beast and Night Media signing big talent and having those talent build businesses underneath them, not doing just advertising deals or marketing deals. So I think that's another big thing that's happening right now, which is the balance of, one, the rise of digital talent. Two is how that digital talent is monetizing themselves and how do they think about themselves? Do they think of themselves as talent, or are they thinking about themselves as entrepreneurs? And the entrepreneurial path is obviously way more risky, but the talent path is far more short term and with far less revenue and far less long-term potential. I don't know, if Charlie D'Amelio does a drink with Dunkin' Donuts and Dunkin' Donuts discontinues the drink either because people weren't buying it or they couldn't produce it or there was a pandemic, whatever that may be, it's not like she can go make that same drink with somebody else. So like, would she have been better off creating her own drink line? Maybe that's what she's doing now instead of it, and she just used Dunkin' Donuts as a place to launch it. But I think this is the thing that talent managers and influencers and the people around them, the agents around them, need to be thinking about. I think the third piece is that, one of the things that we're dealing with is that as the more we scale, the harder it is to wing it. And we've had, 24 quarters. I've been here almost 24 quarters. Actually, I think this quarter is my 24th quarter. We've been able to build a lot of operations, unpack them, rebuild them, restructure them, kill them, bring them back. Like, we've been able to do a lot of experimentation. But when you look at our revenue predominantly has been built on the back of like pretty stratospheric audience growth. So the constant at Barstool is we've been able to bring on more personalities. We've been able to attract new audiences. We've been able to monetize those audiences. We've been able to produce content designed for those audiences and encapsulated by our brand on many different platforms with a diverse set of ways to make money around it. Like, that's kind of the name of the game here. And chaotically and kind of sporadically and I would say, honestly, somewhat reactively, we've been able to build a business around that. As we get to the 200 mark, and I would like to get to the $500 million in revenue mark, the wing it, react to it, build it, hope they will come strategy doesn't work as well. And that's the thing that's just going to impact us this entire year, which is how do we shift what we do and how we do it to be more deliberate, to be more focused, to have actual impact. We had Steve Koonin, who's one of my favorite people on the planet. Steve Koonin is the CEO of the Atlanta Hawks and State Farm Arena. He was a huge executive at Turner, and then prior to that was a huge marketing guy at Coke. Like, one of the gentle, most special, smartest people I know. I have the good fortune of sitting on the WWE board with him. But anyways, we had him come in and talk to our management team about how he sees the world. How does he see marketing? How does he see experiential? What's going to happen with the NBA? How does he think about live sports? How does he think about building brands? And his big thing is Barstool has a ton of hobbies. how many more businesses can Barstool build? Super bullish on Barstool Sports, super bullish on the businesses we've created. But his point, which I think is a good one, and I don't know, I'm just spending a lot of time thinking about it, is everyone on this planet and in business has only so much resource, only so much time, only so much ability. And are we putting our resource, time, talent, and ability to creating adjuncts and offshoots, or are we putting them to building the core and monetizing more of the core of our business?
So you can only be famous for one thing. And the idea is to really understand what you're famous for and then try to exploit that. So in y'all's case, you're famous, for both style and subject. And so when you look at a business, you shouldn't look through the lens of a demographic. I think we talked about, male grooming. And that's demographic based. That's not what y'all are. You're not a demographic. You're relevant to an audience. And so when you do things like that kind of go from center, most likely you're not going to have a ton of success and it becomes a hobby versus putting everything in and becomes a business. And so I worry if you do too many things that are not core to what you do, can you really do them well? And if you take that energy, you put it into things you really do well, can you grow that? And my learnings have been, yes, you can really, really excel if you continue investing in what you're famous for.
I don't have the answer to this. I think it's necessary to experiment. We're doing a lot of experimentation. It's necessary to grow the mothership, and we're doing that too. But how much is too much, and where should the focus be, and in what proportion? Those are things I'm thinking about in Q1. The other thing is, as I dig more into this company, it's like we just had a lot of fucking stupid rules, just stupid ways of doing things. We had this asinine rule in sales that a certain division of the sales team couldn't sell above a certain dollar threshold. And so what that essentially created was it demotivated a certain sales group to do deals above X, right? So the number was 250,000. So in this case, by putting a cap, what that meant is if a salesperson on that team had a $350,000 deal ahead of them, they would have to give it to another salesperson who would get commission on it, and they wouldn't. What salesperson is going to give up commission? No salesperson I've ever met is going to give up commission. So completely asinine structure. I guess on paper it worked, whereby, hey, we want this sales group doing deals of 250 plus. We want this sales group doing deals of 250 and below. But what I'm seeing in the companies, we just had all these ways of doing things which made sense theoretically on paper, but make zero fucking sense in application. So that's gone, which is great. The last 2 years, we've started to make more and more decisions based on internal forces versus on external impact. So it's administratively cleaner for us from an account management, from a rev ops, from a trafficking perspective to handle under $250,000 accounts and over 250,000 accounts differently, right? There was a process for that. Or the way we thought about, how do we create new ideas and launch new ideas and content? You had to go through 70 frigging steps here to get if you're a talent and personality, to get a new idea greenlit. And I think the good thing about where we are is sometimes fresh eyes and fresh perspective is that's stupid. Why do we do that? So I feel like that's, I guess for me, another marker of this quarter, which is why the fuck are we doing it this way? We should not be doing that. Probably going to break some things in the process, probably going to throw some babies out the window with the bathwater and been oh shit, that we shouldn't have done that. But I do think it's really healthy to question how and why we're doing things, and does that make sense? Is it serving a higher purpose, and is it yielding a result? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we got so caught up in the vortex that's Barstool Sports that we forgot about what is Barstool Sports. Barstool Sports putting out super funny, highly entertaining internet content to people who want it, period. What's the goal of our revenue team? Like, I go into a revenue meeting here and we talk about everything but customers and revenue. We talk about process. We talk about operations. We talk about systems. We talk about tools. Yes, all those things are important, but what was happening to us, or my observation, I think, is what happened to us is we spent all of our time talking about that and none of our time talking about, like, what's a customer want and how do we deliver it for them? So I feel more insecure about our revenue number. Our revenue numbers are bigger than they've ever been. I feel more concerned about them than I ever have been, but I also feel way more assured about, like, how the sausage gets made around here and changing the way we're making the sausage. Like, I think we thought that our business was in the sausage making plant versus selling sausage to people who like meat. So that's a big thing for Q1. Other things that I've been thinking about and noticing is, like, one topic I would love people to send in feedback on is, what do you do when people are territorial at work? I think territorialism is like a really, really unhealthy force at work. And I feel like it's something I'm thinking about a lot right now because we've brought in so many external people to help us. We've got an external CFO. We've got a soon to be full-time but currently external chief people officer. We've got another HR consultant. We've got a marketing consultant. We've got all these different people. And one of the biggest observations I have is just how territorial people are and how much people don't like perspective. Here's how I would break it down. One, I think it's very natural. Like, in all of us, there's like a dog chimpanzee brain. Like, why is home so important to people? Home is your turf. Home is your territory. Like, people like defined spaces that are theirs that no one else can touch, and I don't think work is any exception for that. So, like, I feel like everyone in every workplace has some type of chimpanzee brain of, like, what do I own? What's my safety space? What can no one touch? Our reward system for our entire lives is about individual performance. Your report card is based on your individual grade, your athletic accolades or your drama accolades or your extracurriculars are all about your performance, your participation. And I think that that's one thing that we have to change is, like, what's the reward structure that rewards and incentivizes not just individual performance, but doing something for the greater good and the greater whole. All right, so let's take a quick break and just talk about Celsius. So I have my Celsius with me. I used to have a fridge in this office. I don't have a fridge I don't know where the fridge went. But I don't mind drinking it warm. That's how much I like Celsius. So what's great about Celsius, it's an energy drink. It has 0 sugar. It's not bad for you. It gives you that little pep and that boost that you need to be able to make it through a long day of dealing with territorial people and navigating change. They've got 3 types. They've got Celsius Heat. That's got caffeine if you need an extra bit of energy. I actually need the opposite of that. They've got BCAA Plus Energy, which is to help you recover after a workout. Thank you to everybody who DM'd workout tips. I got a lot of workout tip DMs. My workout today was that I walked to work from the train station, which I felt like was a good start. So I don't know that qualifies me for BCAA Plus Energy, but it might. And then the third is Celsius on the go, which I personally love. I hate the taste of water. So if you take a Celsius on the go, you can just dip it into your water jug, tastes a little bit better, has some energy with it, and you can be on your day. So go to Celsius.com to find a store near you, or you can order at Amazon, Walmart, or Target. Celsius, live fit. All right, now we're on to Q&A. First Q&A. I'm at a semi-new job and really loving everything, but the vibe is weird. These people are obsessed with where they work. All my coworkers are all best friends with each other. They hardly have any friends outside of work. I feel like this person works here. This person definitely works here. I want to be friends with them, but I don't want to get sucked into this 24/7 work friendship trap that they're in. How do I set a boundary without seeming like a bitch? Ooh, I love this question. Who is it? Which Barstool Sports employee is it? Actually, that'd be a good quiz. Who at Barstool Sports wrote this in? Okay, here's my 2 cents. One is you seem like really self-aware, very perceptive, and I think you've got good instincts. I get nervous in the my work is my life and my life is my work circle, mostly because I think you start getting a little slouchy, a little too comfortable, and then you spend all of your time at work talking about things that happened outside of work with people that you work with, or when you go have a weekend, all you end up doing is spending your time talking about work. And I think that tends to get like catty, negative, small, bitchy pretty quickly. Like we used to have a little gang here. Mikey Fowler's since left. I love Mikey Fowler. He was great at audio, but he also was like a gossip. And there was this little cult. So love Mikey Fowler, love Marina, love Mike Greer, but they had like a Megan Carrier. They had like a little cult where they just, all they did was to hang out with one another. I'm sure they talked a lot about Barstool Sports and a lot about the people at Barstool Sports. And what it did was, I think it's unhealthy for all of them because it made their work and life identity one. 2 is, I think you get caught in a trap of just gossip. 3 is everyone else knew this was happening, so everyone avoided them or caveated. If you had to tell Mikey Fowler something, you had to make sure that you knew that Mikey Fowler was going to tell that to 5 other people. And again, I love Mikey Fowler. I think that it's very easy to do and it's very human, especially when you work at a company with a lot of young people and a company that people are proud to work at or want to identify as working at. And also at a time in life where you don't have a lot of competing interests outside of work. If you're young, you're single, you live near the office, you work at a place that's dynamic and has other people like you, chances are those people are going to want to be friends and you're going to want to be friends with those people. What I would say is, I think, 1, stay out of the fray. Like, yes, you're going to be on the group chat with people. Yes, you're going to get invited out to drinks. Maybe go to drinks 1 out of 5 times. Like, definitely participate, definitely engage, build the rapport with the people that you like, learn from them, love them, laugh with them, all that kind of stuff. But then also make sure that you're building a life outside of work. And think about your time proportionately, which is you're already spending 80% of your day in the office. Don't add another 80% of your time outside of the office with people from work. So keep it to like 20% or 15% or 30%, whatever the time you're comfortable is, but think about it in proportion. And then the last thing is keep yourself busy doing other things. And one thing that might be a great way to keep rapport with people but keep perspective is, like, if you're really into CrossFit or you're really into kickboxing or you're really into plants or you're really into going to the movies, ask these people to do things with you. Chances are they might not want to do that because they're so obsessed with the company and hanging out with each other, but it still makes you likable, warm, approachable, engaged, but it also keeps the perspective of like, hey, my life is bigger than my work. Okay, second question is, what was the most exciting thing about coming to Barstool? I'm considering taking a huge job/life pivot, and I'm not sure if I'm excited, anxious, or making a huge mistake by taking such a big risk. Did you have these feelings when coming to Barstool? Yes, these are awesome feelings. So take the job, do it. I feel like I've had these feelings maybe 3 or 4 times in my career. And I've maybe had, like, let's say 8 or 9 jobs, I guess, in my career. So one is, I think it's a great thing to feel like. When I came to Barstool, I was like, holy shit, I don't know if I'm qualified for this job. I don't really know what I'm getting into. I certainly don't know if this thing can be successful. But it was exhilarating, and the uncertainty and the anxiety of it was awesome. It was super motivating. So 1, your feelings are totally normal. 2, they're really positive feelings. I actually think, and I don't think anyone talks about this, I think stress in your life, and good stress like this, is one of the single best things that you can look for. I feel like I've been stressed more years than not in my career. mostly because I'm always seeking change. And I think it's really motivating. I think it keeps you sharp. I think it keeps you learning. I think it keeps you upright. The most exciting thing coming to Barstool for me was that I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know what it was going to look like. I didn't know if I could be successful. I didn't entirely know what I was getting into. I knew enough to be excited about it, and I knew enough to be nervous about it. And I didn't know a whole lot, which made me have both of those feelings in spades, to be honest with you. So I'm excited for you. Take your risk. I think it's great. Let's just talk quickly about Uncommon James. So I have the chapstick. I've been using it obsessively. I love the size of it. Like, I have big lips, and sometimes I feel like I hate when you have to put your chapstick on your finger, or it's a really small little wand. I feel so prissy. I hate lip gloss with a wand. This is I don't even know, it's lip balm. I love a balm. I think balm is like one of the best words ever. Who doesn't feel better about themselves when you just get in the orbit of a balm? Anyways, this is Mango Lip Balm. It's from Uncommon Beauty. You may have heard of Uncommon Beauty. It is Kristen Cavallari's company. You might know her from The Hills. What's awesome about Uncommon Beauty is their products are super simple. The packaging is beautiful, very clean, very straightforward. They work on your skin. You can do moisturizer. I love the lip balm. They've got a pineapple peptide, which is basically a serum with vitamin C and hydrates you. So they've got a whole plethora of products. I think they're kind of delicious. The lip balm tastes great. I like how they smell. I like how they look. The packaging looks great in my bathroom. All right, so if you want this lip balm, I highly recommend it. Go to uncommonbeauty.com. Use code TOKEN10. That's TOKEN10. 10% off uncommonbeauty.com Mango Lip Balm. We're lucky enough to have Bianca Belair join us. So Wrestlemania is this weekend, so you can tune in on Peacock. It is live from Dallas, Texas. Huge event, single biggest wrestling event of the year. Bianca is a headline match. She is fighting my girl, Becky Lynch. Bianca is like the most fresh-faced, earnest, hopeful, positive, badass chick that you can imagine. She's great. She's headlining WrestleMania this weekend, and she'll tell you all about it. I had the great pleasure of having one of your makeup artists do my makeup the other day, and we were getting ready for South by Southwest, and I was like, look, I'm from New Hampshire. I don't wear very much makeup. I never wash my hair. So, like, I don't need the whole look. Just do like 0.25% of what you normally do. But she was telling me about when you started to bedazzle your hair. And I'm like, Bianca has grown an extra appendage just to bedazzle. It's amazing.
Yeah, this is my braid. She has a name of her own.
Oh, she does. What is it?
Her name is Destiny, because
I love it.
Sometimes she acts right, sometimes she doesn't, and then she has her own little personality. She likes to look cute too. So that's when I have to start putting jewels in her so she can look cute too.
Oh, I love that. Okay, all right. WrestleMania is coming up. Give us the preview of WrestleMania.
WrestleMania is coming up. All right. It'll be me versus Becky Lynch. I'll be going for the Raw Women's Championship. It'll be the first time that the only two winners of a women's main event of WrestleMania were going head to head. So
okay, let's just pause here because I am a big Becky Lynch fan, which I didn't realize it creates a problem in this conversation. All right. Are you going to beat her, do you think?
I mean, as an athlete, I approach every situation with the mentality that I'm going to win. If I have the mentality that I'm going to lose, I might as well just go home and not show up to WrestleMania. So,
all right. So we're going to beat Becky Lynch. Describe Becky's brand versus your brand.
Ooh, Becky Lynch. Let's see. Well, the thing is, Becky Lynch has changed so much, right? You know, like when I used to watch Becky when I was in NXT, I thought she was amazing. Like, she never ran from a fight. She was always, you know, ready to throw down and show that she was a competitor. She was Becky 2 belts at one point. And now, you know, she went from being the man to now big time Bex. And she's like very over the top with her fair coach. And it's great. But my perception of Becky is just that she's tried every trick in the book right now. And she's not the same Becky. She runs from competition. She has this big persona as big time Bex, but I think that it might be covering up maybe for some other insecurities or
Yeah,
something
all
right
right.
now. But we're gonna bop on out there in the entrance and bop to the ring for WrestleMania.
I love it. All right, are you excited to be in Dallas? Like Cowboy Stadium, it's going to be big.
I'm super excited to be in Dallas. WrestleMania was actually in Dallas the year before I came to NXT. So I missed that WrestleMania. So I'm really excited to be going back. I've never been in the stadium. I've never really even, maybe I've been to Dallas once before, but I've never been inside the stadium. And I've also, last year I was in WrestleMania, but it was only 25,000 people.
I know, it was like half,
So
not even half.
It's completely different.
Yeah, it'll be huge this year. Okay, so
Yes.
Bianca, talk a little bit about your journey to Next and to WWE. Like, you were a track and field star. Like, give your story to folks.
Yeah, so my journey to WWE is a little unique. I didn't really watch wrestling growing up. My brother watched it. I was into track and gymnastics and tumbling and basketball, but I ran collegiate track at the University of South Carolina, then Texas A&M, and then I finished up at the University of Tennessee. I was an all SEC hurdler. And then, after college, I really missed that competitive atmosphere. So I found CrossFit. And that's where I really started to just blossom as the person that I was. I was wearing like big bows and sequins and
okay,
tutus.
you had a lot of attitude in your CrossFit.
And I was really using like social media to like build a brand for myself before that was really kind of like a thing. And so I really stood out. And Mark Henry, who's a Hall of Famer, saw a video of me competing, and he contacted me on Instagram. He was like, "Hey, have you ever thought of being a WWE superstar? Because you're basically wearing wrestling gear. You're grabbing the microphone. You're basically cutting promos, and you know how to captivate the audience. And I think you have what it takes." And so he said, "I can get you a tryout, but you have to do the rest. But just go be yourself, and you'll be fine." So it took me 2 tryouts. And I always say I think that WWE, it found me, and it's like my soulmate. And now, I never imagined myself being a WWE superstar, but now I can't imagine myself being anything
but. You were like, I was always supposed to be this.
Completely.
So
I found my purpose.
Did you have the attitude when you were running track and field, or no?
I always had that flashy, attitude when I ran track and field, because I love FloJo.
FloJo was the best.
Yes.
Oh, and the nails. Oh my God.
Nails, the outfit,
the hair.
She brought like fashion. She's like a supermodel on the track,
Oh,
and
that's so funny.
She was just like unapologetically flashy, and she just you were captive. Like, she was captivating. And so I remember I have a picture of myself on the track at 5 years old. My mom kind of did it to me. I had lipstick on in like a one-piece outfit. And then when I was in high school, I used to have the long FloJo nails.
Okay.
I had a nail that curled like this, and one that was like a lightning bolt. And I was the hurdler with the nails. So, and then I went to University of South Carolina, where they were called the Gamecock Divas. So there, it was all about, our coach was always saying, make sure you look good, because when you look good, you feel good, you perform good. So all throughout my life, that's like
always been part of who you are. Tell me a little bit about the CrossFit era. So you had joined CrossFit. I think I read something that really helped you with confidence and mental health, and you really loved the idea of strong women. So, and then were you competing in CrossFit? Is that where people would discover you? Like, talk a little bit about that time.
Yeah. So after college, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. And I've been an athlete my whole life. And I've always naturally been very strong, and like the bigger girl in track. I was constantly like told to lose weight. You're too muscular, you're too big. And I hated my body. Like, in college, I struggled with eating disorders. I struggled with body dysmorphia. And I did not like my body. And my brother sent me a clip of CrossFit. And I saw these women with muscles and like these beautiful bodies, and they were just doing these amazing feats.
They were so strong.
Yes, they were beautiful and strong. And I was like, I love that. And I want that. And my body can do that. That's what my body was made for. And so I went into CrossFit, and it was the first time that I actually embraced my body, because this is the body that I was born with. My body can do amazing things. And so I fell in love with my body. I fell in love with CrossFit. at the time, the community was just so empowering when I was in it. And it was the first time where I was just like, I love my muscles, and I get to define what's beauty, and I get to define what femininity is, like my muscles is a part of me as a woman. And so that was the first time that I really embrace my body, and I embrace food. Like I saw food as a way to fuel my body and it not be my enemy.
Yeah, that's it's so funny. I think of you as you have a beautiful body, and you're a beautiful person. Even more importantly, but I think of you as so feminine. It's so funny to me that you would feel anything but that. Like when I think about all the women, I think you're the most feminine. Like you're so girly. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I love that about you. I also think you have this like big personality, but every time I talk to you, you're just the softest, nicest person ever. And I think that juxtaposition is what makes you so interesting.
Yeah, I've been even as a kid, I was climbing trees, and my parents put me in gymnastics because they were like, she's all over the place, she's gonna hurt herself. And I was chasing behind my brother, but at the same time, like my mom and my grandmother were the ones that were like red lipstick and sequins everywhere. So I was like this tomboy, I was a girly girl, but I was like a tomboy too at the same time. So I think that's just carried over to now. It's just who I am.
It's just who you are. And you've built I think that's what's so incredible about WWE is you've built a whole brand and a world and a persona around yourself that is in fact who you are, even though it isn't who you are in some ways. And I think there's a genius in that of creating a souped up character based on Bianca that is Bianca. And I think Vince and everyone at WWE just does such an amazing job of that. Okay, talk a little bit about like just what's going on at the WWE right now. Like, where are you standing? What are you worried about? You've got the big matchup with Becky coming. You guys were in Saudi Arabia. Like, give what's happening with the ladies of the WWE?
It's some amazing things happening right now. I think, we're in a great space right now. I came into WWE at an amazing time for women when women's evolution was happening, and now we have the Raw Women's Championship, the SmackDown Women's Championship, and I've had a great year where I've been able to be a part of some amazing pay-per-views, and we're main eventing at WrestleMania. I was last year main evented with Sasha Banks, and we were the first two Black females to ever main event WrestleMania. We won an ESPY off of that. We're main eventing on a weekly basis on Raw and SmackDown, and going to Saudi Arabia where they're making amazing strides for women, and just being able to be a part of that movement. And it's an amazing time for women. And the one thing I love about our women's division here at WWE as well is our division and our roster. Everyone is so different.
Totally.
And every woman can turn on the TV and see someone that they can relate to. And so no one is feeling like they're pressured to be something that they don't want to be because they see someone doing it and being comfortable doing it. So every woman in our locker room is beautiful, but we're all different in amazing ways, and that's what's beautiful about our roster. So it's a lot of amazing things happening. WrestleMania, we have two matches on the first night, me versus Becky Lynch, and Charlotte versus Ronda. And then the second night we have a tag match where almost all the women on the roster are on the show at WrestleMania. So it's amazing.
Okay, and then talk about a little bit, like, what are your next aspirations, like film or television, or like what do you add from here?
My main short-term goal is walking out as Raw Women's Champion at WrestleMania. And then after that, I want to go after the last of the four horsewomen. It's Sasha Banks, Bayley, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte. So after I pin Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, then I want to go after Charlotte to pin Charlotte and be on like the forefront of the new generations of women's wrestling. But outside of wrestling, there's so many goals in wrestling. Outside of wrestling, I would love to get into film. I would love to just be like, we are so amazing at what we do at WWE, and we are so talented. And I can't wait for like more of us to start blossoming out and showing different sides of us. I want to get into film. I want to act. I want to write a book. I want to start my own clothing line because I sew all of my gear that I wear, and I'm pushing myself more. You know, the dress I wore to the ESPYs, I made that dress myself. I'm making outfits for my husband. So I want to eventually design more things and collaborate with designers. And I don't know, one day go to New York Fashion Week, maybe, you know. But I'm a person that's kind of like all over the place. I want to accomplish it all. I want to accomplish everything.
I love that. Talk a little bit about, you're married to another superstar. You're the breadwinner. You're the big star. Like, how does that go?
You know, I'm blessed to do what I love with the person that I love. My husband always makes jokes. He always says that I'm his sugar mama.
Okay, that's fine. You're like, that's fine.
But I love it. You know, my husband, he's one half of the Street Profits of the tag team Street Profits here in WWE. But no, we just support each other. Like, he's my biggest supporter, and he loves me for who I am. He supports me. You know, it's sometimes he has a lot going on, and I might not have as much going on. Or say last year I had a Wrestlemania match and he didn't. And you would have never known that he didn't have a WrestleMania match because of the amount of support and happiness that he had.
He was right there with you.
So he's right there with me all the time. But it's cool. We live together, we travel together, we work together, we're with each other.
Do you train together?
In the lows. We train together too. Yes. He's super athletic, and we push each other all the time.
Who's the better athlete?
Every day together. I'm sorry.
Who's the better athlete?
Oh, me. I call myself the EST for a reason. If you ask him, he'll say the same thing. He better say the same thing.
Yeah, that's right. He's going to get his ass kicked. And then what would you say to, you know, one of the things that I always think about, that I love about the WWE, is that if you have a big personality and you were a big athlete in college, really from any sport, like you could be a wrestler, you could be a gymnast, you could be a cheerleader, you could be a runner, it doesn't really matter. What would you say as a reason to get into the WWE?
You know, I think it's different for everyone. Everyone has their own personal why they're here. But coming from a collegiate athlete, you know, with sports being a part of your life since you probably could walk, right? When you get and when you finish with sports, especially in college, you go through this period of you don't really know what you want to do. But we're all used to performing in front of people. We're all used to that competitive atmosphere. And for me, that's what I get with being in WWE. I get to perform. I get the crowd. I get the audience. I get to show my physical capabilities. I get to use my creativity. I really just get to use my full potential and my full self. And so it's amazing being a WWE superstar. You get to travel the world. You get to meet new people, experience new cultures.
It's just amazing.
It's amazing. And then like me, it completely changed my life. And then I met a whole husband. So
you're like, there really is nothing the WWE hasn't given to you.
Yeah, it's so true.
That's amazing. All right. Well, I can't wait to see you this weekend. Congratulations on everything. I'll root against my girl, Becky Lynch, because I do adore you. And let's be honest, between you and Destiny, I'm not sure Becky Lynch has a chance. But people can tune in to Wrestlemania on Peacock. Do you want to tell people how to follow you?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Bianca Belair WWE.
I'm fired up about this ad. So this ad is for CoinBase. I love CoinBase. I've only used CoinBase for crypto. I think it's safe, it's easy to use, it's secure, you feel like you're in a new banking environment, but you still have the best of old banking environments, which is you don't think your money's gonna like run out the back door. What's awesome about CoinBase is that I really can't say enough about CoinBase. I love CoinBase. I bought all my crypto through CoinBase. Coinbase lets you buy crypto, it lets you sell crypto, and it lets you spend crypto, and they work across nearly every cryptocurrency. So if it's in Coinbase, it's legit, you can buy it. I know that crypto is like a huge looming like Web3, crypto, blockchain, what's out there. And so Coinbase is trusted, it's secure, it's safe, they've got great engineers, it's run well. You may have saw their Super Bowl commercial with the QR code floating, so they're creative. But if you go to Coinbase.com Bitcoin.com/Erika, you can get $10 in Bitcoin. So you don't have to have a huge amount of money. You don't have to be Justin Bieber buying NFTs to play in crypto. Anybody can play in crypto. Women can play in crypto. So sign up for Coinbase.com/Erika for $10 in free Bitcoin. This is a limited time offer, so go now. Sign up today. That's Coinbase.com/Erika. All right, and then to close it out, we've got Tyler Morin here. So Tyler Morin is new to Barstool Sports. He is the founder and creator of Watercoolist. He's going to help us build a bigger newsletter strategy, but for now, he's voicing his own brand called The Watercoolist, so you can subscribe to their newsletter if you go to thewatercoolist.com. And we're going to go through today's headlines. So what makes a great newsletter?
So I think, there's so many newsletters out there. I think what makes it great is being really authentic and really feeling like you're getting an email from somebody, like one of your buddies.
Somebody you know.
And that's what I've tried to create. And another thing I ripped off from Barstool was like, I wanted to create personalities around it.
Yep.
So even when we were writing the newsletter, you always knew who wrote each story. So before it was just me, there were like 3 other guys that were writing with me, and you always knew whether it was
who you were getting it from.
Yeah. And I think that was important and kind of helped build something,
Sure.
With some rapport with our audience.
All right, I love it. So, all right, let's talk headlines. Let's pretend we're in an issue of the Watercoolist, not.
Yeah, definitely not.
Okay, are you giving me the headlines, or am I giving? Oh, you're doing it?
Yeah, I think
Oh, you
I have
know them
them
off the top of your head?
Yeah, I think.
All right, let's go, Tyler.
I think I got them. So, first question for you. I believe it was in Brazil. Burger King is launching a new product, which is basically an ice cream cone, chocolate ice cream, obviously. It looks like the poop emoji.
Oh, okay.
And so the reason they're doing it is because they're getting rid of all the, I believe, preservatives or whatever crap was in their ice cream before.
Okay.
And they're saying that it's clean ice cream now.
I love that concept. I think if you're Burger King or McDonald's right now, like I was just reading this morning that the Bored Ape guys are creating a fast food restaurant in California. So there's going to be a Bored Ape Yacht Club, which is a big NFT community, kind of hype beastie NFT. They're creating a fast food restaurant that's opening April 9th. Just think of how fast that came together. It's amazing. Great. So when you look at a Burger King or a McDonald's or Wendy's or really anyone in that category, I think all that matters is brand and voice.
Right.
The product, like you need good hot fries. You need a burger that like stays together and doesn't taste like shit or cardboard. But like beyond that, you need a gimmick. So I think that's a good gimmick. Okay. I think that's a good strategy.
Cool. So next one I have for you. Did you see that Pete Davidson was potentially going to fly on Blue Origin?
Which is Amazon's one?
Yeah,
Bezos.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know what happened. He pulled out or he couldn't go for some reason. But
too busy fighting Kanye.
Yes.
Okay.
My question to you, Dave walks in the room and says, Erika, I'm going to space with Jeff Bezos. What do you say to him?
Oh, I'm so excited.
And what do you do about it though? How do you capitalize on it?
Oh, like to the moon would be like the whole thing. We'd have T-shirts. I'd definitely want to go. I'd be so happy for Dave. And I'd be so happy for everyone else on board. He would keep them like so entertained. That'd be fun. We could live stream it. We could commentate it, you know?
So apparently Dr. Bronner's, I think it's his son, who now runs the company, is apparently allowing some of the employees, giving them a benefit where they can use ketamine treatment for depression or some other mental illness. And I believe that he's like all for this and he's used it and it's helped him. And if I remember correctly, I think there were like 25 people of the 300 people in the company who've already used this and tried it. So can we use ketamine at Barstool?
Well, okay, here's what I would say about it. Reading the Dr. Bronner's, right? Bronner. Okay, reading the Dr. Bronner soap bottle, it does not shock me that they're hallucinogenics. They're like, just go read the bottle. I think that's probably like, I don't want to be as a company like prescribing psychedelics to people. That to me seems a little dangerous / outside my bounds. But I feel like if people want to experiment with drugs and they make them feel better, then like, okay. All right, Tyler, that's great. Do you want to come back and do this more often?
I would love to, yeah.
All right, thanks for doing this.
You got it.
All right, that's it for today's episode. We've got merch coming. If you haven't already, check out Work Like a Girl. Send us your questions on your career or advice you're looking for. Give us your experience with people being territorial at work and what you did about it. You can follow us on YouTube. You can watch us on YouTube. You can follow us on Facebook. You can be part of our Facebook group. You can get a job on our job board, which is worklikeagirl.com. You can find us on LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I think Facebook. I feel like that's enough. So we'll see you back here next week.